skin sliver, and
Yeah.
it was really disgusting. Okay, so we're on Timmy's live.
Yes.
You're live. Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of I did 2 IG lives yesterday, so we'll just keep doing them. But I'm here with Max.
Hello.
And Max is really incredible because your stores have been around for 35 years, and Max is one of the guys who, you're like the old guard that's the new guard, because the new is to be the one that is like real, and you started it and you're in there every day, and
I still work 7 days a week on the floor selling it, and I still love it.
yeah. So guys, so many of you write to me and you're always like, where can I shop, and where is it that I'm going to get a point of view and it's a real person and I'm not going to feel like I'm just caught up in a big machine, and it's with Max. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a conversation, because you guys don't get a big chat a lot of times with someone like this who's seen and done so much and so many incredible things. And then you'll also get to see some of the great clothing that you've selected for next year.
And I think the exciting thing for me today is sitting here with Amy, because as we all know, 18 months ago, I didn't know if I was going to have a store, if I would continue my career, and I'm sitting here with this incredible woman, and I'd love to share what I love about Tibby, and number one, the value, the quality, the aesthetic, but most of all, the woman that I'm sitting by and the respect that I have for her. And I was telling Amy earlier that I think this is what COVID has taught us all, that it's about the relationship, the people that we want to be surrounded by, the people that inspire us. I have this little quote that I'm with my friends and now with Amy and the friends here. It's like, every time we're at dinner or something, it's like a toast to deeper love. Mm-hmm. And that just goes miles of what deeper love means for all of us.
Yeah, and I think too, we, prior to jumping on, you and I had sushi for the last hour, and we're really talking, and I was asking you, what are women looking for in the dressing room, and how has that changed? And we were saying, certainly what I read on all my DMs from so many people is that it isn't about outfits and everything. It's not the physicality so much of how you look, but it's how things make you feel.
Yeah. And Amy said something during our lunch that was so beautiful, and because I was talking about sexy, because I like to go there. And she
use
goes,
a word, I don't use it a lot. But.
Yeah, she does not like the word sexy, but she said what clothes mean to her. And I'd like you to share that with my Denver customers, and actually all my customers from Aspen and Boulder, New York, what you feel like when you get dressed.
Because when Max said, well, you made the comment, you said, every woman wants to feel sexy. And I was saying, well, what is sexy?
Yes.
Because to me, my idea of sexy is like Katharine Hepburn sitting there, in her
and you're covered.
And totally covered and the whole thing. That's my idea of sexy. And so I think now it's just so much beyond what those words are, and it's more about having deeper meaning,
deeper love.
Yeah, and it's because it's not good enough. I think all of us found out, not all of us, I can't speak for everyone, but pre-COVID we were really skating on thin ice. And by I don't even mean like financially, not, even though that was a whole thing and in terms of inventory, but just thin ice and like just how much we were doing, and
on so many levels.
Yeah, and just taking on, and just
it feels like it's a new day. I was telling Amy, I went to the gutter of loneliness because I've been alone for 4 months, and now I feel it's an awakening for all of us, and that's why I use the word sexy and dressing that Amy can stand.
I'm just curious, like, we didn't talk about this at lunch, but when you did you change was like anything different about your friend makeup or anything when you came
I
out
just
of it?
realized that I had to be with the most enlightening, incredible. I've always had incredible friendships, but now it's the value that I feel,
Yeah.
and the urgency of spending time, and
Yeah.
love, and sharing, and philanthropy. It just took you to another level. I always lived my life like that, but it's.
I know I was listening to a quote. I wouldn't say it was on TikTok, but actually, like, it's not like, it wasn't like the guy was doing like that when he was giving the quote. It was like a real person giving a quote, and they said that, you know, a lot of people think about time with just so much longevity, and it was saying, like, if you think about like how much time you have left with your parents, for instance, they're saying like, okay, well, if your parents are in their 70s, maybe you are like, okay, you know what, I've got like another 20 years with them, hopefully, knock on wood. But then he's like, but if you visit them twice a year, you know, and maybe it's 10 super good years, but if you visit them twice a year, you have 20 more visits with that person. Not, you know, you don't have that number of years. It's how many visits, and so, you know, and it's not.
I always share Amy with my friends because I was an incredible son, but I never took enough vacations with my mom because I was busy working on I call my mom every day. I saw her at every holiday, but those things that I can share with my younger friends, it's like, go on vacation with your parents, spend time with your siblings, and just enjoy this closeness that this last year has just you know, we have to.
Well, see, and you just said last year, but it's been almost 2 years.
It's been
like
2
that's
years.
like there's no these mile markers for time are really just gone, and so, and I think that I think one of the things that's really fueled me is a lot of people have asked, like, well, you know, your business must have really crashed after COVID and everything, and I think that, you know, pre-COVID, I really just wanted out because I couldn't find my inspiration. And I don't mean like, you know, pink is the new black inspiration. Like, I just really wasn't inspired. And I think now it's really understanding, like, pink is not the new black inspiration ever for me. It never will be. But like really hearing from all of these people, men, women, whoever, how much when they find their style and who they are changes their lives. Like, I finally feel for the first time like we're doing something that has meaning.
Yes.
You know, like.
And I think, Amy, like, if a younger person going into the fashion business would ask me, what do you think? I would say, you have to have a reason why you want to do it.
Yeah.
Is there another higher level?
Yeah.
Because it's a hard business.
It is a hard business, but I also think too, you know,
but
I think you also have to find things within yourself, because you were saying like how you were alone and for a very long time after COVID, and I think about this too for young people, anyone going into business. Like, you know, I worked obviously, like the other day we're sitting there at Jack Studios, we're putting clothing on models, and I'm like, oh my God, this is pretty amazing. But then I thought, you know, I used to work at American Express, and even though I was like working on, you know, a discount fee for a, you know, a company, I actually really enjoyed that too. It really, so much of it is what comes from within you, because the surroundings, they disappear really quickly. So then you're really left with yourself, and either you're happy with yourself and you're able to put yourself in any moment and find value in it, or you're not. And then you can change the surroundings all you want, but it's never going to change. So
I do know I couldn't live without fashion.
Well,
I love it.
It's so funny because I always loved fashion, but moving from a small island to New York, I remember I ran into this woman at this Amex party, and I knew that she was always dressed well, and she was wearing the Chanel floral pin, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I love your flower. And she's like, I know. Can you believe I went there with it? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I did the big splurge. And I was like, of course you did. And then later on, I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? She's just wearing this flower. Like, and then someone's like, Amy, that's like a $3,000 flower. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, is she stupid? And then, anyways.
Yeah. But
Well,
perfection
I had no
also
idea.
is like beauty and
Yes.
beauty of flowers and architecture and
And
it's all together and cuisine and time with family.
And
more like that.
yeah,
Love.
and just appreciating
beauty.
Yeah. Yes. So on that note, I'm like, sponsored by. We're gonna have it. Where is Alexis here? Brought to you by your sponsor, Alexis. So all right. So I'm gonna get out of your way.
Hi.
All right. So you're wearing the sporty nylon.
Yes, the Italian sporty nylon cami dress. And it's just like the perfect dress. You can take it on vacation. You can wear it in fall, winter. If you're going out, you can layer it with some blazers.
Like a
My
little
favorite.
leather jacket.
Amy's favorite leather jacket.
But I do think, like, when we talk about style and everything, what I love figuring out is, since you brought up sexy early, like, this is sexy, but it's like sexy light.
Yes.
You know, like,
Yes.
And it covers the arms.
you got your arms covered, but I think when you can be technically sexy, but also have your hand in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yes. And
It gives a casual
That's
feel.
it.
It's not trying too hard.
That's actually the new rule, because if you're dressed sexy, but everything's so fitted that you can't get a hand in your pocket, then
yes.
that's not our sexy.
That's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Tibby.
Right, that's
Yeah,
like-
that's not Tibby.
Chill, laid back, sexy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I also think, just talking about what's, why is there a vacuum
That's a
going
good
on? Sorry guys.
And this dress comes in amazing colors.
Yeah.
I also think this is good. Super fun.
But what's really
Awesome,
great about
yeah.
this in terms of like sexiness, if you want to like link sexy to feeling smart and everything as well, is this Italian fabric has a really sporty quality to it, but you look utterly dressed up. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, you're not going super black tie in this,
Yeah,
But it's
but you
easy.
are going. There can be a white tablecloth involved.
Mhm.
Or you can be on a beach and there
Yes.
can be sand involved and you still feel great
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Nice. So, yeah, we were saying that kind of that the beauty of seeing people dress in things that they feel good in is you see that relaxation of
Yes.
the shoulders and the whole, like everything just settles down when a woman,
Yes.
when anyone feels good in what
And
they're
maybe, Amy, maybe you would, for my customers in Denver, because I'm on
Mhm.
the floor in the changing rooms with them, the volume thing from Tibby is
Mhm.
always a little,
intimidating.
so maybe you
Yeah.
can, with the model show, some big blazers. They just
I
feel
will.
like if they're
Oh, actually,
petite,
come back out with this. 'Cause-
if they're petite, they should not be in an oversized blazer.
Yeah. So one of the things Max said, like, I do love like to come up with little acronyms to help people figure things out, right? And so one of the things for volume is a lot of people do write to me and they're like, I feel overwhelmed in it, or I'm 5'2" and you guys pull it off, but I feel like a potato sack. But the thing is for me, it's not about like cinching it with a waist, but
Yes.
there's this thing I talk about and it's called big slim skin.
Ooh,
Okay, so that's like a good little thing. So big slim skin means like somewhere on you, you've got, so here you've got two big items, right? You've got the bigger coat and then you've got some fullness in the skirt. Like that's enough. So then your shoe is something that we qualify as slim.
oh, I like that.
So a slim shoe is,
Yeah.
okay, like think of the big Bottega chunky boot, that's not slim.
Yeah,
The Balenciaga dad sneaker, that's not slim.
yeah.
But anything that has a single sole to it, anything that's slightly pointed, refined, that's a slim shoe. So a lot of people, like, they'll think like, all right, well, if I'm gonna go big and
Yes.
oversized, I'll put the big chunky boot on, the big dress, and then all of a sudden you're big, big, big. So you've got the big coat,
Yeah.
you've got the slim
Beautiful.
shoe, and then you've got that bit of skin. And some people are like, okay, well, if I am in Aspen and it's cold, where's my skin? But if you were wearing like a turtleneck dickie with that, then sometimes it's just like, you know, I've got a lot of coverage right now, so sometimes just giving myself that little bit of forearm.
Exactly. Yeah, it gives you the same effect.
Just that little, like a wrist in a dressing room even.
Yes.
Can just change everything. And even learning like this is a big jacket, but having things that have like a drape to it is a really nice way
Yeah.
to ease into that.
Into learning to wear volume when you're petite.
Yeah.
Yes.
And understanding like, yeah, because the volume here, like this is like this kind of, we call it like this little turtle hump in the back. But when it comes in, it's actually creating another point of coming in and out. So yeah, like belts do that for a lot of people, but when all this big can create like sculptural
Yes.
shape on the body, then it becomes something interesting as well.
And in the world of Tippy, you wear a volume pant and a volume blazer. Do you like it that way?
No, for me, that if I'm wearing a volume pant and a volume
You
blazer,
go smaller.
Yeah, so that's why, like, we're constantly
Oh,
thinking
I
about
love
the balance
these New
thing.
Jerseys.
Yes, so if you've got this wider pant on,
Then tighter.
yeah, I'm not.
But do you still throw a big blazer?
I would throw a big blazer on with it, but only with something very slim
On
underneath.
the- underneath.
So that when the blazer moves, you're really seeing
yeah.
some. And I don't want to say it's not about seeing the body; it's about creating like different sculptural shapes.
Yes.
And so for us, this
Can
is.
we see that outfit?
Yeah. I'll have her put it on. But this is.
That new fabric is wonderful.
Well, it feels new to you because it's actually a really heavy cashmere, but we plied it with spandex.
Love it.
So it gives it like it sucks you in, and yeah, it's the good stuff in. So yeah, it's good. And so even like when we do like this shirt dress, this woman from California the other day, she sent me. She's like, I just went crazy in my closet, and she styled it like 100 different ways. But it's doing volume, but in a deceptive way. So like even just kicking the seams forward a little bit, like it does give volume, and you can. But it's where like sometimes, you know, if something's like a scoop necked and really voluminous, like I'll go into a dressing room and there's a woman who's like 5'2" and maybe she's got a much larger chest. And she's putting it on and she's like, I want to do this big thing, but she's like, I feel horrible in this. And I'm like, you look like you feel horrible in this. Like, I think too, it's recognizing, like for her, that's not going to be
what she wants.
And it's not going to be what she wants because when she puts it on, she just physically doesn't feel good in it. And so I
Yes.
think you've got to really, when you put things on, sometimes like when I do fittings in my office, Tracy and Hannah come in, they bring in clothing, and a lot of times it makes Tracy crazy, but like she'll give me something to try on, and I'll try it on, and immediately I'll start fidgeting, and she's like, don't start fidgeting and hating on it, like turn around and look in the mirror. And I'm like, but this is even like the purest. Like I don't even have a mirror near me, and I can already tell that
Yes.
I hate this. It's not making me feel good. So if I look in the mirror, that visual is not going to override my like mental state when I put it on. So just kind of like we kind of refer to some things as like dressing in the dark. Like what would you put on that would make you feel really good? And I don't mean like a pair of leggings
Yes.
and a t-shirt. Like that. So this is another great example of big slim skin.
We have the skirt in the store right now. It's so beautiful.
Well, and to me, this is where you have
Holiday.
modernity, and this is where,
modern.
like, when you mix proportions like this, it really is next level dressing, and
Yes.
it's where you really don't look like everyone else around you. you. It's next level dressing, and even if you take your arm out, this even can kind of function as like a little cape if you're just
Nice.
wanting to wear it. You've got your arms covered,
Beautiful.
the whole thing, and you've got big slim skin happening here, and so. And it doesn't mean there's not a market or a place for things that are really like head to toe skin tight. But by and large, our customer, when they find this for them, it's usually an aha moment like, okay, before I was putting on stuff that like, yeah, I really fit in. Barbara and Janet were in it and we all like fit in together, but you didn't really feel like your best self. And this, I think, is anyone's best self. And you go to Paris Fashion Week and those women, like, they'll walk by you on the streets and damn, like they, I want to share that with people, because that's like the holy grail.
And I think we were talking too for lunch. It's like, American women can be so hard on themselves, but the way body and this, I was sharing with Amy that in Mexico on Sunday, my favorite thing to do is go to the church because there's one wedding after another every hour. And it's the curviest women. They're not worried about their arms. Yeah. They're not worried if their dress is too tight or they're showing a little belly.
They're just being.
I don't know if it's the U.S. or just women just can be so tough on themselves.
It was funny because Jamie and I were working with a customer last week, and hopefully I'm not like throwing her mom under the bus, but she came in with her mom and she was like, I want a Liam blazer, and the mom was very much like of that mindset of like, honey, you've got the body. Show the body. You've got the body. Don't hide it. And I think that so many people, through whether it is an extremely well-intentioned mother, boyfriend, sister, whatever, or whether it's
and their stories that
or maybe a not so well-intentioned magazine or whatever, they could be a little bit better about this, but like, it's not about hiding your body.
Yeah.
You're not trying to hide your body. You're just freaking chill and cool.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that whole narrative that you have to either show your body or don't.
Yes.
Right.
Do whatever, wear whatever makes you feel good.
Right. And then if you don't show your body, somehow you're not proud.
Yeah.
Like, don't hide, be strong, show your body. I'm like, I could show my body, I just don't want to. I'm not ready to get out right now. Yeah, like, thank you. Yeah. All right. So if you'll put on those pants, that would be great. I think it's learning how to just be. But that said, clothes are a big part of learning how to just be, because they really do communicate who you are. And
100%.
It was funny, and again, I hope I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, like they're watching this and they're like, I thought these DMs were private, but I won't say names. But this one woman wrote to me, and she is a very, very C-suite level at a Fortune 500 company. And she said, we're doing our pictures for the 10K report, and they want me to wear color. And she's like, but I have my great Liam taupe suit, I've got my black, she's like, I don't have color, but like the PR person is telling me that they want me to wear color. And I wrote her back and I'm like, do you think anyone's telling Mark Zuckerberg to like just put a scarf around? Like,
exactly.
They're not. Steve Jobs did not wear color. I worked for Amex, and I'm pretty sure Ken Chenault and Harvey Golub did not wear color in their annual reports. So, and then she wrote back and she's like, God damn it, you're right. She's like, the CEO and CFO, they're dressed in navy suits. What gives? And I'm like, so don't wear the color.
I do love color.
But I love
not when it, yes.
But here's the thing about color. You have to wear it when it feels authentic for you to wear color.
Absolutely.
So to ask someone to bring something
100%.
onto their body that they would never own in their wardrobe, like, first of all, I can tell you right now, if she took the picture in the red top, the picture is going to be like of her like this. Like that CEO is going to be like this, and she's going to be like this. So that's trashed right away. So I think and we've got like, for this winter capsule, we did these bright green sweaters. I love we did these baby blue dickies. I love it. I love color when I love to wear color, and then when I don't love to wear it, I don't want to wear it, and then, but I have options because admittedly, like when I put on color, I can feel so much happier. But for other people, they don't. So it's just like knowing what's best for you, and not, you know, taking feedback of,
absolutely.
You know, if someone says, you should do this.
And that's the thing, like Mexico, every woman that walks out of the church, they're in something that they love. They're not asking their husband, I don't think.
I don't think they did. I mean, were any of them carrying a selfie stick?
No.
So there you go.
Yeah, like, they're wearing a beautiful color, a beautiful outfit, because they feel gorgeous in it.
And I think, and that's...
And hopefully the two of us can share with our customers the inspiration of wearing what you feel great in.
Exactly, and thinking like, because when we were talking, you were using the word gorgeous a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you were like, I mean that like internally gorgeous, right? And that's how I think for me, it's kind of figuring out, like the most important thing for me, especially choosing to put myself in a creative environment, is that you feel modern and with the moment, you know? And so I think it's like figuring out, I tell people a lot of times to figure out the adjectives to describe themselves, and that when they figure out what their adjectives are, not nouns, but their adjectives, that you are much more focused. But what I realized was hanging up a lot of people, getting them hung up, was there were the adjectives that they felt they were, and they were separating them from the adjectives that they wanted to be. And I was like, it's not, like you can be in the middle of some rando suburb, in the middle of some random state, and if you want to say that you are completely modern, even though you feel like, okay, you know what, I've got the minivan is like out in the yard and it's calling like bullshit on that, don't worry about that, because you can be in that minivan. It's like a state of mind. How do you want to be? And so your adjectives don't need to be what your husband or your partner or whoever would sit down and write as your adjectives. It really should be like, what is it that you want to feel like every day? And I want to be modern. And if my kids are like, Mom, you're so not modern, like I'm gonna have to get over that and deal with it, because I'm like, I don't care what you say. I mean, I do. But anyways, and they'll probably like jump on here. Sometimes they get on here and like trash talk me in the comments, and that like really sucks.
Perfect.
The ultimate.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so again, when you can put your hands in your pocket, like I think clearly there's something very sexy about this, but it's so sexy.
Because it's so fitted on the top,
But like when you...
long lines.
And then do you like the blazers too?
I do. Like, I mean, well, the thing is...
And that's your core classic Tibby blazer that is season after season.
Well, it's interesting. This is the blazer. So this is the Liam style. And the Liam is definitely the bigger blazer.
That's the one that scares my customers.
Yeah. And it's funny because once people do Liam though, like...
Oh, it's so
as Christina's sitting over here.
Yeah, Christina
like
has
you
it on.
can't, like when you put on something different, sometimes you're like, I feel so average. So once you've gone there, because you have to be comfortable with the fact that you are now a fashion person, right? And so, and you can, like, there are ways to like make yourself
more fitted,
more fitted. But the thing is you have to be, first of all, you have to be comfortable with that friend who comes up and is like,
it's so
what
big.
Are you doing? Like I was at a Christmas party the other night and I was wearing the frayed plaid Liam, and this woman came up to me, I'd never met her before, and she's like, look at you, and you're like, what is with the big blazer? And I was like, okay, here, have another
That's the mean
Cocktail.
girlfriend in the store that
Yeah.
does that. And
It's like
that
I'm gonna-
blazer's
Exactly.
so big on you.
So I gave her another cocktail, but what's funny, she came back to me like 3 cocktails later. Fuck, she's probably watching this whole thing. Anyways, but you deserve it. But anyway, so she comes back to me and she's like, JK, you're so stylish. I was not meaning to like make you feel bad about your style. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. And I'm like, you can't make me feel bad.
No.
Like, that's okay. And like, I don't care that you said it. You can't make me
Yeah.
feel anything. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, you're in your own style, your own way.
Yeah, like it's my own thing. And so you feel really confident about that.
Yes.
And maybe at my age too, like you acquire that confidence. But if you're going to wear that blazer, you are a fashionable person.
Yeah.
But
And
I think
it's
what's great is
great.
you, to me, I wear this all the time over my leggings and a bodysuit when I go to bar class.
Mhm.
And like, you don't need
Yes.
some Lululemon concocted like this is what you
Amen. Amen.
athleisure, like this is
Yeah.
athleisure.
Mhm.
Yes.
Own
Yeah, it's
it.
all in the styling, as long as
Yeah.
you feel comfortable.
Yeah,
You
and you know
definitely
you
own
want to
it.
wear that on a plane.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. It's perfect for the plane.
And yeah, so there you go. But when we talk about big slim skin, I think that where I personally feel uncomfortable is like if you had on the turtleneck, if you just did the single button, and then certainly if you had on like the Balenciaga Dad sneakers,
Mm-hmm.
that's not our look. And it's not our look, not because it's bad style, of course it's not, it's someone else's style, but Tibby, we tend to be balanced. When we say we're creative pragmatists, we're balanced. We're not extremely big and it's not
Yes.
extremely skin. It's that balance of
In the right proportion.
in the middle. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe we can we see that? Do you have that black dress? Because people are like trying to hunt that down like crazy.
I don't. Do I have it, Jane? Yes.
Yeah.
So it should be coming in.
Okay, yeah, I think it's there actually already,
Should be
right?
there already.
So I'm gonna have her try on the black dress because that has been sold out forever, everywhere. And you guys don't do e-commerce on it, but you can go to
Max Fashion CO
Yeah.
on Instagram and
So-
DM us.
exactly. So everything will be tagged here, but Max has the Holy Grail dress. It's the really.
I can't wait
one.
to see it on.
It's so chic. And actually, can you also have a pair of boots as an option to wear with that too? Yeah, because that dress kind of falls under the criteria of what we call like the 12 mowers. Again, like acronyms with Amy. But it's like the item that lasts 12 months out
Love
of the
it.
year, and it's really good. So, you know, I want to reiterate again. We kind of touched on this in the beginning, but you know, Max is. We'll have to do like the Google confirmation search on it, but you're independent. You've done everything yourself.
36 years.
Yeah. You said you were dragged into tax court when you first started as.
Oh, the IRS shut me down.
Yeah, so and will you tell that story? Because I have a lot of entrepreneurs and
Yes.
and people who come on and they kind of get this idea that like someone did it perfect without any humps, and then like
I think the main thing is everything takes a long time.
it does.
And you stumble, you get up, you go back. I think right before COVID, I told my therapist, I think my life is good. And then all my stores shut down
Right.
a day later
Right.
for 4 months.
Right.
I go, I think I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. And then
Yeah.
down. Yeah, so I started my business with $10,000 36 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no doubt in my mind that I'm still standing because I think I was $200,000 in debt.
Mm-hmm.
And I call my mom. They wanted me to go chapter 11,
Mhm.
like a lot of stores do. And
Yeah.
I go, I can't.
No.
I can't screw Amy. I couldn't screw people that I love.
I
And
know, because so many people are like, just think of it as a business tool, and I'm like, if you hit me with an axe, like that's a tool to chop
That
down
I
a tree,
would
but
have,
it doesn't
yes,
make
young
it right.
designers,
Like,
I
it's
would
not-
hurt. So I called my mom, who was always praying and in church, and I just said, Mom, I'm going down, but if I ever get to a place where I can give back, I promise you.
Mhm.
And 2 weeks later, a guy came and lent me $75,000, and 36 years later, we've raised about $2 million for charity. We're going to do an amazing event with Amy in Denver for the MCA, for the teen program
That's going to be great.
in May.
Yeah.
Because pretty much all my charity is children, women, and kids. So that will be for the teen program at the MCA. And I'm still, now that I'm in the last chapter of my age for my career, I'm setting myself up for the best part of my business is that I want to give back.
Yeah.
And being around people like Amy that inspire you to be better, and my incredible team that I work with, they're all behind my philanthropy. My customers have given to me for 36 years. All I do is call them and say, I need.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so.
So I think it really is about, I mean, you really have to believe in yourself, and it really is the long haul.
A long haul.
And
the haul never ends.
the haul never ends. And I think it's easy to, like, if you're reading papers and everything, so many people are like, kids these days. But I remember I was on the airplane and I was sitting next to this guy, and I had opened up, it was the South China Morning Post, and they had done a story on Tibby. And I remember he was like, what is that? And I said, I had started this clothing line. And I'm like, finally, I have gotten press. I mean, finally. And he's like, when did you start? And I was like, 3 months ago. And he was like, girlfriend,
Yeah.
get your time perspective right. So that happened really quickly. And then, like, you realize how hard it is. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I don't think it's kids these days that expect things to happen overnight. I think it's such human
Yes.
desire for things to happen quickly.
But it doesn't.
It's always been the case, and it's never been the case that it happens quickly. Like,
Yeah.
and when it does, actually, for those that it happens to really quickly, those are probably not the best stories. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. You feel very grounded, and I feel very grounded, and I'm very grateful to that. And I think that if you could look at someone maybe that is, like, on paper billion times more wildly successful, I don't know, maybe they have like 50 stores or whatever, 100, 2,000 Zaras or whatever. It's like, how do you feel? That's the real measurement.
And that's what we talked about Mexico.
Yeah.
No agenda. It's just pure love.
Yeah.
It's not like you got to make more. You got to do this.
It's just this,
Sharing.
yeah,
Sharing.
this settling. And I think that's where, even when it comes back to clothing, ironically, like, I think someone out there could be watching this and thinking, people, you're selling clothing. But you're not. Like, you're selling a way for people to feel
Yes.
settled, you know? Like, I think everyone's seeking that. And if knowing yourself and who you are, and then if you're able to reflect that on your outside, because that's a challenge. Sometimes you know who you are on the inside, but the outside isn't telling the same story. And so when you
Or the insecurity story.
yeah, so you want to connect those stories, and when you do connect them, it's like you feel settled.
Like, I was worried that I might sound too effeminate today.
Really?
It's all those crazy stories where we're talking about
Yeah.
of fear and, you know.
Well,
that
I mean, I'm sorry. I just
I don't know if I'm worried about something with the clothes I have on
But
right now.
I just watched
But yeah.
that new Truman Capote Netflix bio on the Truman Capote tape. Fuck, he was just like, which I didn't say this because you sound like Truman by any stretch, but he was just like, obviously Truman sounded like Truman, and
Yeah.
he did not give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, here he was, like, Southern, small town, writing these books about these passionate love affairs, And he was just like, I'm doing it. And it's the 1950s.
Yes.
And he was like present and wow. So, see, even you get nervous.
All of us together.
Doesn't
That's
it?
why you have to be
Yeah.
surrounded by incredible love and incredible friendships
Yeah.
because we all have the story. And there's always something going on in someone's life that you have to be aware of, to reach out and touch.
I know. But it is funny too, like everyone has a story, but so much of it too is your interpretation
Yeah.
of that story. And I know, like, I've been.
Or thinking that I was going to sound too gay.
Well, or just.
On the live Instagram.
Which I would, like, love. But I know, like, my mom and dad were always like, the glass is overflowing, like, to a fault. And I remember my dad was telling my husband this story about this vacation that we went on to, and we didn't have any money, but then he was so excited because he went to get something at the grocery store, and this drunk lady on St. Simon smashed into him and paid him $1,500 to, like, not report it. So I remember he came home and he's like, we are going on vacation, which meant the station wagon to Chicago. And anyways, we broke down on the side of the road, and of course we had a box of gerbils with us because everyone travels with gerbils and hamsters. And what had happened was, apparently, I guess, the hamster Melanie and Ken, a guy and a girl, Melanie was pregnant before we left. And so somewhere between, like, St. Simon's and Chicago, she gave birth. And so anyways, we stopped on the side of the road. The car is broken down because it was a Ford, and that always broke down back then. And an ambulance came by and picked us up. And I remember they were like, you have a box of gerbils. Like, you can't bring gerbils into the ambulance. And we were like, but they're just born. And so my husband, he was like, where is this story going? And my dad was like, yeah, that was the best trip. And my husband was like, that is a trip from fucking hell. Like, that is the worst trip in the world that you just described. And my dad was like, really? Like, it was kind of funny. Like, the gerbils, they were running all over, and we actually ended up staying in this old woman's house, and the town was called Basetown. And it's like, how do you view it?
Yes.
You know, the gerbils in the house, or is it horrible, or is it a good thing? Is it just like life? And
Life.
Gerbil life. Hamster life. Okay, on that note. See how chic?
So good.
So chic, right?
Yeah.
This is like a popular dress that we can't find anywhere.
Well, except for now at Max, so you can call and get it if you don't have it. But what's so great, you can imagine, like, you could wear a big winter coat and tights with it, and you're really good. You can, the woman who sent me her, like, 12 pictures from San Francisco, she looked incredible, but she had it unbuttoned, and she did it as, like, a cover-up. She just had done every single possible iteration with this dress, and she looked incredible.
And it's really one of those pieces that you can just put in your wardrobe and wear a million ways.
Yeah.
You don't need to be worried about it. It's like a dress, and you won't get enough wear out of it.
Yeah. So fabric really matters. So if you turn around to the back, you also, like, this is where you have some of the volume. And so
Yes.
we think about that stuff. Like, we like things to have ease, but we don't want people to feel like they've just, you know, stuck their head through a tent
Yes.
and run out the door. So this actually looks quite long and lean from the front, but putting that volume in the back gives it all the ease that you.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Amy, can we see the jogger pant? Because that's probably the best
The
fitting
jogger
pant
and the Brancusi are
from
like the gateway
sizes
drug.
extra small to extra large,
It really,
casual, easy.
those are the
whatever.
two
Yeah, that's
works for sure. And actually, do you mind? Can you do the jogger first with the black top there, the black
Ooh.
sleeve, right? Because I want to show what's great
Oh, I
about
love
the
it. Yeah,
jogger
I love that.
is you can be in the grocery store, but when she puts this on with, like, the heel sandal,
Oh, yeah.
you're really going out to dinner someplace nice and fabulous and everything. So, okay, where did you grow up?
My dad was a preacher, so I lived everywhere. And I started my fashion career dressing my mom. At
Okay, wait,
probably
what kind of preacher?
Seventh-day Adventist. That's why I don't eat meat. Yeah, I think probably the only thing I remember, because my childhood was so horrible, being teased that I was gay, is the highlight was always dressing my mom for church.
But now,
And I would say, Mom, wear your hair like Jackie O. And I don't even know where I saw a picture of Jackie O.
Yeah.
But I was, that's how I started at probably 4 years old.
wow.
Every Saturday she
Yeah.
would say, what should I wear for church?
Yeah.
And it's just, and it gave me self-esteem.
Sure.
Because I didn't know how to play sports.
So your dad's a preacher. Like, was that a big deal for him?
It actually wasn't, which I'm very lucky.
Well, I love that because I think that,
Latino minister with
Yeah.
a gay son in the 50s.
wow.
And accepted the Barbies, my styling jobs. So that way I was lucky. It was the younger boys that were so horrible.
Yeah. But, I mean, thank God to have your parents' support,
Yes,
because in absence of that,
yes.
I can't imagine.
In fact, right before my mom died, I was in the hospital with her, and she said, don't ever forget that God doesn't love you. And my brother told me, that was like her saying, I'm okay with you being gay. Because she always wondered, I would have loved him a little more, if I would have taken care of him a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have been straight. But my younger brother said, that was the way where your mom finally said, everything is fine. I accept and I love you.
You know, and I love that so much because I think people really right now forget that people have tremendous capacity for change and to evolve, you know? And
My mom was June Cleaver. The
yeah.
worst thing she ever said was that person's a pill. That was like fuck. Or goose. Those were her two cuss words. Pill and goose.
So I think like
Yeah, her innocence.
for her to, and then like that coming full circle, you know.
Full circle.
And people do, and I think there's a real notion that people are like these fully baked entities that are either good or bad. They have positive thoughts or negative thoughts. And for some, especially like for me growing up in Georgia, you sometimes just haven't been exposed to things at all. And it takes exposure and really being.
And my mom accepted from as a young boy, but it took her till the day she died to go, I'm not guilty anymore.
Yeah.
God loves you and everything is fine.
Well, okay, segue to this, but have you seen that movie, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, yet?
Not yet.
It's really funny because growing up in the South, there was the PTL club, the Praise the Lord club, and our neighbors were members of the PTL, and you couldn't even say the word dog because it was like God backwards. And, but watching The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and it's Jessica Chastain plays it.
She's so good.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how Tammy Faye's whole thing was truly that you're loved.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize was such a rebellion, especially in the 80s and going out with AIDS patients. And like, she was like, you're loved. Like she was an incredible person.
Yeah.
She was, I had no idea. And it's funny, like I just judged her because she had the mascara.
And those are the lessons of thinking someone's a certain way when they're not.
Yeah.
And the best pant ever.
So, this is...
Whole Foods, carpool.
Exactly.
And evening for the MCA event in March.
And
May.
It is every age, because I'm like...
Every age, every size.
I have sons who golf. Like, this is like what I would wear with a sweatshirt and a slide, and I'd go to a golf tournament, and then the mom walks in the Lululemon Sport. I just talked about judging, but I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can wear the mascara, but you can't
Sometimes
wear the
you can take the low road.
Yeah.
With
I just went on the underpass with that one for sure. But
Ooh, look at all the beautiful colors too.
Oh, I know.
And all these colors are going to be at Max
Yeah.
in all 3 locations. Yeah, they're perfection.
so those are the holy grails because they go through the airport, they get you upgraded, you wear it on the whole vacation.
I won't use the word sexy.
But it's also
It's chill.
for me at holiday time. It's the one that like if friends are coming over, I would slip the heel out for like
Yes.
just a flat little furry slide,
Yeah.
and you are really
Yeah.
appropriate for hanging
Yeah,
out.
I think that's the perfect holiday
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah.
And then-
Or year-round uniform.
and that's the low key top.
Yeah.
And we call those a low key top.
This is holiday?
That's in the winter collection that you have now. And those are low key tops because you really, I mean, jeans in the office, you could wear it. You are definitely, I mean, you could wear a big ball skirt with it.
Yes.
And a great necklace, and you're ready to go.
With the texture, the shoulders, perfect top.
And that's where, again, we do like the option of having strong shoulders and not. And this is, I really do encourage you, and I mean, like, all kidding aside, like, if you feel at all like you're in that little fitted jacket rut and that skinny jean rut, just try on those
Yes.
things. Like, sometimes people DM me, and I'm like, just take a photograph of yourself and just kind of live with it.
What do you
for
say
a
to the
little while.
woman that says my husband doesn't like it?
I get that.
We get it all the time.
But I have, those people are way overshadowed by the people who write to me and they're like, my husband is so thrilled right now because I didn't have
Good.
that break. Like growing up, I remember this would be like the most common sound. It would be my mom in the closet being like, I'm not going. I had nothing to wear. And I mean, like, and we could be like, you know, going to the Ford Fairmont to drive
Yes.
to Chicago, and she'd be screaming that. But it's so, when you feel unsettled about what you're
I
wearing,
like that word.
everyone around you feels it. It's a real, you know, when you talk about like new age words like energy in a room, that tension sucks. So I mean, Matt's over there, our social media, but like we have letters from husbands who are like, thank you. Like my wife she is so centered now, you know, and
Beautiful. And that's what clothes do.
they do. And so,
And that's why we're all doing this
Yeah.
together, because it's fun and exciting and new and fresh.
and my husband has, like, there's one thing that he like hates, but then he has this one pair of, oh my God, they're so horrible. I'm like, if I could, and every day I'm like, I concoct ways to burn it, and then I think, what if he did that to my Stella pant? I would
Yeah.
be so sad. So yeah, sometimes you just have to ignore. And with my husband in those pants, sweetie, they're the black ones with the white stripe down the side. I fucking hate them so much. When the kids come home though for Christmas, I know they're gonna like burn them. But anyways, this is really good.
So fun. Thank you, Amy.
It's just-
And
it's
looking
like-
forward to building great relationship with Tibby and the museum's events
Yeah, so
and
we've
trunk shows.
so we've got this event. It's in May, right?
Yes, for the
And
Museum of Contemporary Art.
and it's going to be incredible. And then we're also talking about some other really good stuff. So we
Maybe
will
doing a
keep you
pop-up
posted.
in Denver, in
Yeah.
Aspen, and a trunk show this summer.
Yeah, and maybe even like a creative pragmatist retreat.
Yes.
I know how fun. Would that be so much fun? Okay. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. All right, guys.
Happy
So,
holidays.
thank you, and it's at Max Fashion Co. They don't have online, which is
But we will
smart.
in 22.
Okay, so they will in 22. But right now, this is Max. He is a human. He's not a robot, and he's not in the metaverse. We're real. We can like touch each other. And enjoy. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.